Hello, dear students. I welcome you all on behalf of Sri Jayendra Rank Zone classes. Dear student, in the continuation of this chapter, that is organism and population of ecology, in the previous class, we have already talked about the major abiotic factor like temperature, water, and light. Now, here today, we are initiating this lecture with the fourth factor, a major abiotic factor, that is soil. And we know that the first, what is soil? So, if we define a soil, we know that Earth's uppermost crust, Earth's uppermost crust, having mixture of mixture of organic matter and mineral is called as soil. Is called as soil. So it is uppermost crust, uppermost layers of the soil, which has a organic matter as well as mineral. Then it is known as soil. And we know that it is a complex mixture of, we can say, mineral particles, organic matter, soil, air, soil, and soil organisms. So, if we talk about the soil composition, dear student, soil consists of four component. Soil has a four component, and in this four component, there are two solid component and two liquid component. Two solid component and sorry, not liquid, non-solid component. So, two solid component, if we talk, that are mineral particle, that is mineral particles and organic matter. But two non-solid components are air and water. If we talk about this composition in the soil, mineral particles are 40%, organic matter is 10%, air and water are 25% each in the particular soil composition. What is the contribution of these four components in the soil? That is in such a way. And apart from this, plus the fifth component is also found, and this fifth component is of variable nature, and that is soil microorganism, or we can say soil organisms. And these soil organisms are of variable nature. Variable nature means they vary from a particular region to the another region of the soil. Okay, so this is the composition of this soil. Now, if you talk about the mineral particles, these mineral particles which are a maximum in this out of all these four component. Okay, the mineral particles are also divided into four types. So if we talk about mineral particles, or we can say soil particles, they are of four types. Okay, and if we talk about this four type, the first is gravel, and gravel are the nothing but fine pebbles. Fine pebbles are the nothing but small stone particles whose size is greater than 2 mm. The second mineral particle type is sand, and sand are also known as quartz or SiO2. and its size is 0.02 mm to 2 mm. The third soil particle are silt, and silts are known as very fine quartz grains, and very fine quartz grains having a side 0.002 to 0.02 mm. And the fourth are clay, and clay are considered as hydrated silicates of aluminium. And these clay particles, which are the smallest in size, that is less than 0.002 mm. So clay particles are smallest in size. Compared to that, silt are somewhat larger than compared to silt, sand are of larger size, and compared to sand, gravel having a highest size, that is a greater than 2 mm. Okay, so these are the different type of mineral particles which are found in this soil. So now it is known that the nature and the properties of the soil in a different places vary. In different villages, the soil is of different type and it has a different properties. So soil type and its characteristic depend on the climate of the region, weathering process, and the process of development. Okay, so what factors ultimately affect the characteristic of soil? That is the climate, okay, of that particular region, weathering process, how the soil is forming, how the breakdown of rock is occurring, and how it is developing. That all will determine the characteristic of the soil type. And now it is known that soil factor are also known as edaphic factor. Okay, so you should remember that the soil factor are also known as edaphic factor. Soil factor are known as edaphic factor. Okay, if they are known as edaphic factor, then if you talk about the study of soil, it is known as pedology. So what is pedology? It is a study of soil. So study of soil, it is known as pedology. And when we want to study this particular, this we can say the soil, we understand the chief characteristic of the soil, and that is studied with the help of soil profile. So it is known that chief characteristics of soil are studied with the help of soil profile. And it is known that type of soil profile depend on the climate and vegetation of area. Okay, so it is known that type of soil profile depend on climate and vegetation of the area. Okay, now when we want to study this particular soil characteristics, we have to select a one three-dimensional volume of soil for the study of the profile, and that three-dimensional volume, it is known as padon. Okay, so we remember a smallest three-dimensional volume of soil required to study its profile is called Padon. Okay, it is known as padon. So padon is a three-dimensional. Suppose we are taking some small volume of soil like this, then this is the three-dimensional unit which is of soil, that is known as padon. And if we talk about the most soil possess 3 to 4 horizons and number of sub-horizon. So what is soil horizon? First, soil horizon, if we talk, is a horizontal layer, is horizontal layer approximately parallel to soil surface. Approximately parallel to soil surface, and that possess distinct properties which are unlike the ones present in the adjoining region. If this soil horizon has some different properties than the adjoining layer which is present below that, yeah, or above that. Okay, so this is known as soil horizon, and it is known that most soil possess 3 to 4 horizon. It is known that most soil possess 3 to 4 horizon and a number of subhorizon and number of subhorizon. Okay, so that are particularly studied by this. So when we study the different soil horizons in a particular padon, a three-dimensional unit, then we will see that soil profile consists of O, A, B, C, and R horizon. And now if you want to understand how these are located in the soil horizon, this is the 3D diagram. And this is the padon of the soil. See, in this padon, this is the O horizon. Then it is a horizon, it is B horizon, it is C horizon, and it is R horizon. It is the region where plant is growing. Okay, so from the top layer of soil, if we go down, we will see all this particular horizon. Now, at the base, you will see the R horizon. Okay, and this R horizon as a parent or bedrock means a large rock particles are there found in this particular area. Now, when the breakdown of these rock particles occur, they are going to add a larger pieces of rock in the C horizon. Then from C horizon, the smaller pieces of rock are added in this B2 region. See here, if we divide the B horizon, then it is B1 and B1 and B2. And B1 also you will see the presence of small horizons. Okay, so this is B2 and this is B1, and you will see here some such type of small pieces of rock. So up to this, what happens? This is particularly how the rock are degrading by the weathering process or breakdown, and they are enriching the soil. But when we see from the top layer O horizon is there, and O horizon has a O1 or A00 or O2 and A0 regions. So in O1 regions or A00 region, you will see that there is a undecomposed organic debris are found, because whatever we organic parts which are remains from our household products or what we eat, that the remains of that all ultimately are, or a particularly plant part which are going to die, that all fall on the top layer of the soil, and this consists, that is considered as a O1 or A00 region which has an undecomposed organic matter. Now when this undecomposed organic matter start decomposing, the partly decomposed matter will be found below this O1 in the O2 region. Then the organic matter rich region is found, that is humus, and humus is the where the organic matter get accumulated, and below to this mineral are getting leached. Okay, so organic matter found here, but minerals are go down. So minerals are when going downward, they wash down through the A2 region that is known as elevation zone. And then they accumulate in the elevation zone that is known as B1 horizon. Okay, so such a way these different regions like O horizon, A horizon, B horizon, C horizon, and R horizon are found in this particular, we can say, the one padon. So this is a hypothetical diagram of the soil. It is a hypothetical diagram of a soil profile to show the principal horizons. So we remember the uppermost as a undecomposed, undecomposed organic matter, then partly decomposed organic matter, then humus zone is there, then elevation zone, then elevation, then small pieces of rock, and then larger pieces of rock, and then bedrock. And ultimately, this profile is formed by the nothing but a process of soil formation. And dear students, we remember that the process of soil formation it is known as pedogenesis. So what is pedogenesis? It is a it is a process of soil formation. And when we talk about a process of soil formation, dear student, it includes different steps. And the first step that we are going to discuss that is weathering. First step which we are going to discuss that is what? Weathering. So see, we know that bedrock is there. There is a large parent bedrock is there. And the first thing in the formation of soil occur that is a breakdown of this rock, a larger pieces of rock into fine particles as present on the soil. Whatever the fine particles we are found on the soil, that is a breakdown of larger pieces of rock into the small particles, that is weathering. And this breakdown or this weathering is occurred due to the different methods or different ways. And in this, it is of three types, that is a physical weathering, chemical weathering, and biological weathering. In physical weathering, the breakdown of rock caused by the alternate heating and cooling, alternate wetting and drying, action of frost, snow, rain, and wind. Okay, due to any this thing, either it is all these things occur naturally in a physical environment. Okay, so either through the cooling, heating, alternating, drying, wetting, action of frost, snow, rain, wind, anything due to this, if the breakdown of rock is occurring, parent rock is occurring, that is known as physical weathering. Now, apart from this, second way is a chemical weathering where oxidation, reduction, carbonation, solubilization reactions takes place to break the rock. And the third is the biological weathering, where by lichens or mosses it is done. And we know that in the ecological succession, we will study that ecological succession as a separate topic in the next coming chapter. Where and what is that succession? If there is a barren area where there is a no life, so the first organism which are able to grow in that barren area, which are able possibly grow, they are the lichens. And when lichens grow, they will form a soil over there and they will invite the mosses. Okay, so such a way the weathering of the rock in succession also in the formation of new habitat also these lichens and mosses are playing role, so it is known as biological weathering. So now we have a weathered rock, availability of the weathered rock, so that is occurring from the bottom side. But now along with this, from the upper side, the organic matter is enriched into this weathered rock. From the top side, it is a addition of organic matter or the humus into the weathered rock. Now it is known that humification or addition of this organic matter is essential for starting biological activity, because whatever the microbes are there which are playing a role in biological activity and nutrient cycling, they need nutrients, and that nutrients will be available by this humification only. And if we talk about humification occur, humus is formed, and humus is considered as a dark colored amorphous substance. This is the dark colored amorphous substance, and it is a slightly acidic. It is colloidal and act as a reservoir of nutrient. It is a dark colored amorphous substance, acidic in nature, and it acts as a reservoir of the nutrient. So if we talk about humus is enriched over this particular weathered rock. If we talk about the main functions of this weathered rock, humus, then it is a biogeochemical cycling. A nutrient cycling will start. It prevent a soil from compaction. It will not allow soil to compact. Okay. It help in formation of soil crumbs. It improve aeration and a water holding capacity of soil. We remember this to important. Improve aeration and water holding capacity of soil, that is nothing but a humus. And the humus also makes soil spongy, and because of this, the easy for the penetration of the root can penetrate easily through this, we can say, humus. Okay, so this is the second way addition of humus. Now, along with humus addition, humification, you will see the third thing, that is the alluviation and the elevation. So next, the steps are alluviation and elevation. So what this to mean? These are the two processes which brings about a transport and deposition of materials in the soil. In the soil, the distribution of material, transport of material, and the deposition of material takes place by these two processes. In which, if we talk about alluviation, elevation is a washing down of minerals or materials from the upper strata. When materials move from upper strata to the lower strata, that downward washing is known as elevation. But when we talk about elevation, this helps in enriching the different layers of the soil with the materials, or specifically we can say minerals. So when different layers are enriched with a different concentration of minerals, that enrichment is done by the elevation. But if we talk about elevation, is a deposition of washed down material in lower strata. When they accumulate, these minerals get accumulated at the lower strata, then this process is known as elevation. Okay, so this all way ultimately help in the what a particularly formation of the soil or the process of formation of soil. Now, after this, it is considered that various characteristics of soil determine the percolation and water holding capacity of soil. So it is known that various characteristics of soil, such as number one, soil composition, number two, grain size or particle size, and number three, aggregation of soil particles. These three determine the percolation and water holding capacity of soil. Okay, so these three are the important factors. So these characteristics along with the parameters such as pH, mineral composition and topography determine to a large extent the vegetation in area. The which type of vegetation will grow in that particular soil will be determined by these characters along with the pH, the mineral composition of the soil and the topography, that is surface figure. So this in turn dictates the type of animals. So what type of vegetation that found, according to the based on that, the types of animal that reside or that can be supported, that will be decided. So similarly in the aquatic environment like the pond, lake, sea and ocean, the sediment characteristic often determine the type of benthic animal and that thrive there. So this statement is important. So we should write it, okay, that in aquatic environment, in aquatic environment, that is pond, lake, sea and ocean, the sediment characteristics often determine the type of benthic animal that thrive there or that reside there. Okay, so that is what particularly how the pedogenesis occur and the soil formation occur. Now we are going to talk about the type of soil, okay, or we can say soil texture. So soil's texture, or particularly the different, we can say, type of soil based on their composition. Okay, now here it is known that the physical structure of soil is due to size, proportion, and arrangement of its constituent. And there are three main types of soil textures in this. The first soil texture is sandy soil. Dear student, in sandy soil, 80% or more sand is found and 20% or less silt and clay are found. Okay, and this composition make the sandy soil. Now it is known that sandy soil have a poor water holding capacity. Why it has a poor water holding capacity? Because the size of sand particles are larger than the clay and silt, and if the size of the soil particle are larger, the spaces between them will be larger, so water cannot hold in them. So water will ultimately wash down and it will not will be holded by this sandy soil. And apart from this soil is porous and loose obviously, and it has a little chemical nutrition. Now, apart from this, the second type of soil texture which we discuss here, that is the clay soil. If we talk about a clay soil has 40 to 50% of clay, then 50 to 60% of silt, and little little sand may be present. So here silt are there and clay are there, and clay is in much concentration and silt are in much concentration, and these two have a smaller size. So due to this they can hold water easily and water will not wash down. So they have high water holding capacity. And this question get asked in exam. Okay, it is being asked in exam, so it has a high water holding capacity. Then they have a pores, that is abundant capillary pores or micropores are found. And the clay soil, it is known that the good quality of nutrients are available in this soil, and but aeration is poor because they are the particles are too tightly attached to each other. After this clay soil, the third type of texture of soil is found, that is known as loam soil. And if you talk about loam soil, it has 20% clay plus 40% sand plus 40% silt. Okay, so these things are present in loam soil. So here sand and silt are equally in proportion. It is known that it has moderate water holding capacity. They are moderately porous and it provide good mineral nutrition, aeration and hydration, and therefore it is known that it is a best soil for plant growth. Okay, so this is the one of the important point that you should remember, that loam soil is the best soil for the plant growth, and it is an important question that getting asked. So this is the what a three type of soil textures. Now after this we are going to talk about another soil type that is based upon the source of soil. So here next we are going to talk about a soil type that is based on source of soil, and this two type of soil are there. One is residual soil, another one is the transported soil. Now residual soil, it develop in situ from parent rock, means it is formed at the position, at the particular position by the breakdown of the rock. In situ means in their original habitat or in their original site, not outside the original site. So if the particular soil is forming due to the breakdown of a rock in a particular region, then it is known as residual soil. But if we talk about transported soil, this soil is brought by, it is brought from other places through either gravity or running water or wind or glacier. If it is brought by gravity, then it is known as a colluvial soil. If it is brought by the running water, then it is known as alluvial soil. It is a type of transported soil. If it is brought by the wind, then it is known as aeolian soil. And if it is brought by the glacier, it is known as glacial soil. Okay, so these are the two important, particularly a type of soil, that is a residual soil and the transported soil. And that is all about the what a fourth major factor, that is soil. I hope you understood well. Thank you.